Hi everyone, this is the FIDE Master Alessandro Santagati, and in this video we can go forward to study the advanced variation of the French. This is the third video, so you can go to the last videos to see all what we studied before. And so advanced variation, as you get to C5, and I explained all those moves in the last video. When black moves queen b6 is a Paulsen variation of the advanced variation of the French, and in the last video we studied the move a3, so the Lputian variation of the French. My tip is play knight h6, and in the last video we saw knight h6, b4, c takes d4, bishop takes, g takes, c takes d4, and after that bishop d7. And I just say that bishop d7 is useful to avoid knight c3. And in the last video, we studied the variation h3 of white. We did it to avoid rook g4, because usually in this kind of position, the common plan for black is play rook g8, rook g4. And I invite you to go to see the last video to see this variation well. In this video, we can go forward to see the variation bishop e2. What happened if bishop e2? Okay, bishop e2 is a logical choice. The idea of bishop g2 is very easy. Develop the bishop and then castle quickly. And black can play with the same idea, so play rook g8 and attack g2. After this move, I think white has two options, or castle, or maybe g3. I don't see other options. So if white play g3, I think easy rook g4. And now the rook is attacking the pawn d4. Now there are three attackers, queen, knight, and rook. And at the moment there are two defenders. The question is, can white add a new defender for this pawn d4? The answer is no, because no other pieces can defend d4 at the moment. For this reason here, the only move for white is attack the rook, because for example, if white play castle, okay, you can be happy, you can simply take the pawn, and black is off a pawn, and you are very good advantage now. For this reason, after rook g4, the only move for white is play h3. So the idea is attack the rook. And in this position, the key idea is sacrifice the exchange on d4. So my tip is play rook takes d4. And after that, white takes d4. And you can take with the knight. So you sacrificed the exchange, but you took a pawn. And at the moment, white has a problem. White should castle, white should develop the pieces. Let's do an example. If white castle, you can simply play knight takes c2 check, the queen has to take, and after bishop b5, you can retake the exchange, and now you are much better because you took the pawn, you retake the exchange, so you can be very, very happy about it. For this reason, after knight takes d4 is not possible castle, so white should find other moves. Maybe white should try to remove the bishop on d3, for example. This can be an idea. But in this case, a5 is a classical move in this kind of variation. Because in this kind of variation, the attack against the structure is very important. And after a5 and, for example, b takes a5, queen b2 is very good. Rook is under attack, and the queen is very dangerous. So after knight d2, we need to defend. Another key move is queen c3. And after queen c3, the bishop is under attack, and knight f3 is coming. So if bishop e2, also knight c2 is coming. So if bishop e2, simply knight c2 and black will win the rook. If white will play bishop takes h7 to maintain the bishop in this diagonal and cover c2, black moves knight f3, and now the advantage is clear, because if white takes with the queen, black can take the rook. And if you don't take, I don't see other good moves. So for example, if king e2, simply bishop b5 is winning for black. So it's not possible to defend this position for white after that. And if after a5 white moves b takes a5, black is winning, no problem for black. So white should find another option. Maybe white can play b5 instead of taking the pawn a5. And now another interesting option for black is queen c7. There is idea to attack e5 and to take the file C open, so black can make a very good pressure. I think f4 can be an idea to defend e5, but in this case black can avoid the castle playing queen c5. Now castle is not possible, because if white play castle, you can simply play knight b3, knight b3, and then there is a discovery attack and the rook is lost. So now black is winning. For this reason, after queen c5, for white is not possible castle. If maybe white can try to develop the pieces with knight d2, but the big problem is that again there is queen c3, and queen c3 is very strong, a lot of weaknesses for white, and black is winning. So this position is very hard for white, not easy. And I think that if you go with this position with black, you can take an advantage, you can reach a better position anyway. So after b5, queen c7, you are very good, black is very good, and for this reason I think the sacrifice is very good. Maybe instead of bishop d3, white can try also other options, but I don't know, maybe white can try knight c3 for example. But if knight c3, to all the pieces you can play a5 anyway, and after b5 you can go a4 with the idea to isolate the pawn b5. Now b5 is a target, and then the idea can be also knight c2. So if castle, you can play rook c8 to add pressure against the knight, and against this knight. And if this knight will go away, there is the e2 under attack, and if white play knight takes e4, you can play first check, queen takes forces, and now queen a5 with the idea to attack the knight, and then to play bishop b5 to win again exchange. So anyway, black will take a very, very good position, very good advantage for black. So this variation is not good for white. I think g3 is a mistake in this position. After rook g4, I think black is better. Instead of g3, white has to play castle. So castle is the main move here. And after castle, rook g4 anyway. Some problem, 3 attackers against d4. So white must play h3 to take the rook, and now rook f4 to maintain the attack against d4. A classical mistake here could be queen d2, because if queen d2, you can simply play knight takes d4, and the queen takes f4 doesn't work because black can simply take the knight on the bishop on e2 with a knight, and now it's a fork, and black is winning. So this doesn't work. For this reason, after rook f4, the only move for white is play g3, and now my tip is play rook takes f3. Bishop should take. You take with the queen on d4, and now white is forced to trade because the black queen is attacking the rook. So queen takes d4, knight takes d4, and now the bishop is under attack. The question is how white can defend. Maybe bishop g2, maybe king g2, maybe knight e2, or maybe move the bishop on d1, or maybe on h5. There are more options. If king g2, for example, no problem, you can simply play a5 as a classical move. The idea would be make pressure against a3. So after b takes a5 and the rook takes a5, the plan would be take this pawn, maybe also making pressure with b5 and b4, and a3. I think in this kind of position is lost. For this reason, after knight takes d4 and the king g2, okay, the a5. If bishop g2, you can play anyway a5, same idea, and the black has the initiative. The idea in this kind of position is have to pass pawns. So have to pass pawns. Okay, white is up an exchange, but the still pass pawns with the minor pieces is fine for black. And I think in this kind of position, black is slightly better. And so maybe white can play other moves. Maybe white can play knight d2. I played a game about it, but after knight d2, black can simply play bishop g7, because now a5 I think is not so good, because white can immediately bring the rook on b1, and this rook can maybe make pressure against b7. So if knight d2, I prefer bishop g7, with a simple idea to take the pawn on e5 for free, because rook e1 doesn't work because there is the fork, and rook a1 doesn't work because there is bishop b5, and you can win the exchange because the rook on f1 will be trapped. So this is the idea, and for this reason I don't like the d2. Maybe the best move is bishop h5, but you can play anyway a5, and here black has the initiative, not big problems. If rook d1, for example, you can play knight b3, and after rook a2, there is a takes b4, and black now is much better. So white has to pay attention because there are a lot of tricks that you can do in this kind of position. So next video we will focus attention about the other option of white in this variation, because I say that when you play with black bishop e2 sorry, when you play bishop d7, there are three options. There is bishop e2, there is h3, and we just studied these lines. Then next time, the next video, we will study the variation rook a2. And in this way, we can have a complete idea about this variation, about the Lputian variation of the advanced French game. So that's all for this video. Thank you for the attention, and see you for the next. If you have questions, feel free to write in the comment below. Okay. Have a good day. Bye. Remember to follow me on social networks and share the video with your friends. Thanks!